Hey guys, I'm Tyler and you're watching the CJS Bass channel. Today I thought I'd do another little one of my chatty videos and just air my thoughts on quite a fairly popular topic, and that's Ampeg amplifiers. I spent the weekend at Buckle and Boots Festival in Manchester. Just pop a little bit of that footage right here now. And that footage was recorded with an Ampeg SVT 8x10 cab and then the SVT3 Pro head. I was running the Line 6 Helix on the floor, but I was just using that as a compressor. And it just absolutely killed. The Yamaha BB in that video, I've done a recent video, so go and check that out too. But that combination of the SVT and the BB, really enjoyed it, and it really got me thinking about why the Ampeg SVT crops up on stages all over the world, and it's something that I've been looking into quite a lot recently. For many years I've been running this pedal, which is, as many of you know, is the quickest, lightest way to get the Ampeg sound, but I've never actually used an Ampeg rig myself. And I think I might be on the cusp of converting to do just that for the reasons I'll probably say in this video. So this guy I've been using for anything that's rock or country, paired with all sorts of lightweight amps. I use the Aish T900 at the minute, the Mark Bass LMT, I used it with that. The CC Electronic R8750 kind of had an Ampeg thing going on itself, but in a bit of a different way. And those are the amps that I've mainly used in recent times. And the Ampeg thing, it kind of really struck me just watching so many different bands at the festival. The Ampeg rig just really helps it sit in the mix. It really has this push around the low mid range that is just a really nice chewy cushion that really helps in a festival situation, that really fills out that bit just above the kick drum. So frequently with gigs, you go there and you've got the subs pushing out this massive low from the kick drum, and then you just have this massive gap with nothing in it, which is where the bass should be, and I feel like the Ampeg sound really gives you that. And I think it's the sound of bass is what I've kind of come to think. A Fender P with an Ampeg is kind of the sound of bass, and then a Fender Jazz with an Ampeg is a similar thing. But I'm wondering if actually the Ampeg element is more important than the Fender side of things. I know that I've found myself recently, whenever I've been recording things for my own EPs, my own music, I've found myself putting on the Ampeg SVT VR plugin, using the UAD stuff, and it just moves it in the mix, just really shifts what I'm doing, puts it right in the right place. I was really impressed with the, so I was using the 8x10 on the main stage, and then I played a second stage later on in the day, where they had the 410 HLF, but the same SVT3 Pro. And it just really worked for me. It really fit. There was a lovely cushion in the low mids, as I've said, but with the bright button on, it was bright, but not in a glassy way. Bright in a way that helps you cut through, but still keeps you out of the way of everyone else. I think it's around probably the 4K mark that's happening. And I find 4K is a really useful frequency because you still get some cut. It doesn't get nasty and nasally, which I find happens around 1 and 2K. And that 4K boost really helps you cut through the mix without getting in the way, and without sounding papery and piezo tweetery, that kind of sound. So as I say, I really think I'm understanding why Ampeg are the industry standard and why they are on so many stages. And I think it might be something that I have to really look into myself on my own rig, more than just the VT bass pedal, because it does do a good job. But there was something different about playing those rigs at the weekend to what I get with this. With the Helix I can get kind of closer because it's modelling the cab properly. So I use the Line 6 Helix with the SVT. I used that on a function gig on Saturday night, and that really put me in the right place. So I think that a switch to Ampeg may be on the horizon, but if you want a bass sound that seems to just work and is really simple, and if you're playing, to be honest, any form of music, I play a ton of jazz stuff, but I'm still putting the Ampeg on my recordings. And I think it's just the sound of bass. And if you want it to be simple, there are obviously tons of great options you can do things with. You know, I love my iCamp. It's really cool. It's so lightweight, and that's probably the one thing that puts me off the Ampeg stuff. It's really not lightweight, and the lightweight stuff they do have is still fairly heavy. So the Portaflex series, they're still quite big cabs, and they're still quite big heads. The 800 is pretty wide, whereas my Aisha's 900 watt head, and it's absolutely tiny. It's literally that deep. But I do think while that stuff is great and it can really serve a purpose, if you're someone who wants to keep it simple, you really want it to be reliable, and you want to be able to access it all over the world. If you're traveling, touring and stuff, it's likely no matter where you are, if something stops working, you can probably find one on whatever the seller's thing is, and probably have it within days, if not hours. Or just drop into any shop. They're all over the world. So yeah, that's just my kind of view on the SVT stuff and my realisation over the weekend. I think it's something I'm probably going to pursue a bit more and really look into the Ampeg range a bit more deeply. And try and make it a bit more of a staple in my gigging setup. I had compliments using the Yamaha BB and the SVT on the Helix this weekend at rehearsals. So I think that might be something that I have to really look into. But yeah, as I say, that's just some of my views on the Ampeg stuff and why I think it's really worth looking into and really worth pursuing. If you really want your bass to just fit in the mix, keep it simple. And not have to do too much, and not just worry. You just don't have to worry about it. Sometimes you can spend years and years and hours worrying about your gear and whether you need it to sound like this or that or whatever. But if you just want your bass to sound like a bass, I think your first port of call should be the Ampeg stuff. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. If you like the content, hit the like button, and if you want to see more stuff, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell if you want to be, up to date on the moment that I release videos. As I say, there's probably going to be some more Ampeg stuff coming, just because I think that's my next port of call. That's the next thing on the horizon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around soon.